This podcast and its content was created and recorded on Kaurna land. We would like to acknowledge the Kaurna people, the traditional custodians of the land we reside on, and their connections to land, sea and community. We pay our respect to their elders past and present and extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples today. Back in the 8s. Go Crows.
I almost forgot the air horn. Sorry.
Oh, yes, well.
Yeah, I was very late.
In my head, I was like, you better be pressing that horn button.
Yeah.
Welcome to another episode of Here We Crow. My name is Lauren. Sorry, I'm hosting for the second week in a row.
Yes.
Because we had a
very late. This was a Geelong.
remittance.
This was a Geelong style out. This one.
We don't even have a sub. We don't have McHenry joining us tonight, unfortunately. But Dan is again not joining us tonight, unfortunately.
We even brought a glass down for him. That's how late it was.
That's how late.
Yeah.
Anyway, we will conquer on without him. Hello, Sam.
Hello, Lauren.
And hello, Ben.
Hey there, Lauren.
So prepared over there.
How'd you boys enjoy the game on the weekend? You didn't attend, I don't think.
No.
Well, I don't know if Ben was there, but I didn't see him. Did you go, Ben?
Oh, well, I came, but you know how you didn't want to be anywhere near me, so no, I didn't make it.
Oh, no worries. Oh,
No.
Well, I went, so we'll talk a bit more about that. Big win against the Saints. We've got a few segments tonight which we've stolen from Dan because
he had to submit them still.
Otherwise, we'd have nothing.
Yeah.
But of course, we'll review the game, and we've got Dog Act. It is back. A very special Dog Act tonight.
This could be a train wreck, or it could be very funny.
Look, let's go with very funny.
Yeah.
And if it's a train wreck, that's okay too.
Yeah.
That's what editing is for.
That's
right.
That's we'll edit it to this intro and some songs maybe.
Yeah.
Vic Bates back. What else? Social media.
Plenty bit of that.
Talk about the upcoming game against the Bulldogs.
Yep.
No enough tonight either. So it's going to be a short, sharp, shiny one.
Yes.
Anyway, let's get into it.
Music.
Cool drinks.
And did anyone mention 56?
Oh, yes, it is episode 56.
Here we go. Look at how proud he is.
Sorry,
no,
Ben.
Well, I've been receiving a fair bit of bullying about having some sort of 56 stat, and I put some work in and we just go straight past it.
No, sorry. No, I'm keen.
I mean, to be fair, this is late notice me hosting,
Yep,
so
it is. Well, that is true, yes.
I'm rattled. But
Everyone needs to bear with us.
yeah, Ben, give us your stats for the number 56.
56, I've gone back to the archives. Can
Archives.
anyone remember the inaugural Gather Round match?
Barely.
was,
Jesus, you really dived.
was won by 56 points.
Oh, fantastic. Well,
Not bad.
that's a pretty good
So,
stat.
but I'm not going to finish there. So,
got more.
our Sandful total on the weekend was 56 points.
Nice.
Oh, okay.
April 2021, the AFLW team beat the Bulldogs, who are up against this week, in the last round of the minor round
Yes.
by 56 points.
Ooh.
Hasn't always been our friend, though. Back in 2010, we lost to Fremantle by 56 points.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, don't remind me.
Freshly upgraded rookie by the name of Barlow
yeah.
dominated.
Had 56 disposals.
Just, making himself known as the best rookie for fantasy. Left ankle injury to a 20-year-old Sloan, and a late head injury to Tex, who did still kick 4 goals.
okay.
Nice. Look at that.
Excellent.
That's
Love
exactly what we wanted for 50
And
for our new
now,
stats.
yeah, well, don't expect that level every week, but we've done it once.
Did you get lucky for the number 56?
There was a bit of Care Mooney on the bounce about that with his little numerology or whatever he calls it. I like it.
Yeah. So we'll see. It could be a lot less impressive going forwards.
Well, we'll see. We'll see about that, Ben.
But the beer,
Yeah.
we've got a beer from Range Brewing, which is a Queensland brewery. So we're going to Queensland.
Okay.
This is called Candy Hearts. It's an oat cream IPA. This will have lactose in it. Plenty of hops. It looks very juicy. Actually, it is juicy. I've already tried it.
It's pretty juicy. I've got to say, it stinks.
Yeah.
It really does not smell nice.
You don't like the smell?
Nah, it smells
Yeah,
like...
right. It's a real danky hop
Oh,
smell.
yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know. It tastes not bad, though, so
Yeah.
let's see how we go.
Yeah. What are you listening to this week, Lauren?
Well, this week, it's a bit of throwback, but not the kind of throwback that I know you boys love. Today is a special day, and everyone's going to be listening to this tomorrow, technically, which will be the 17th of May. But today is the 16th of May. It's Lagwagon Day. Oh. So here's May 16 by Lagwagon. Classic old contract from Lagwagon there. From their album, Let's Talk About Feelings. We're going to talk about
classic.
our feelings
Are
later.
We?
Yeah.
You got a Crow's question.
Feelings. Crow's feelings.
Very positive at the moment.
Yeah. Anyway.
Like it. What's Dan got?
Dan.
Are we giving him his moment?
Yeah. Well, Dan sent through 2 songs, but I don't know what the hell he was talking about with the second one. So I think he'll have to save that for next week when he's back. But Dan is listening to the new single from Queens of the Stone Age. Now, I'm having a bit of a personal crisis about this new song because I'm not sure if you've been keeping up with events, but Josh Homme ain't very nice. He's not a very nice guy. So I'm a bit off Queens.
Just disappointing.
Yeah, but they are one of my favourite bands. So I haven't actually heard any of this song. So this is going to be
for me too.
a big surprise for me. So let's hear it now. This one's Emotions.
I think I might need to give that a few goes. That sounded like a mess from that little clip. But
yeah, look, it sounded a bit muddy, didn't it?
Yeah,
I did ask Matt, my partner, because, you know, we're both big Queens fans, and I knew he would have listened to it already, and I said, have you listened to that song? What do you think? And he was like, didn't really like it, but I didn't like the first single off the last record either, and then I liked the album, so maybe need to wait on that one. But Queens as a band in general, one of the iconic rock bands of our time, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
Their first 3 records are some of my favourite records ever. So, or first 4 records, I'd say. So, what do you think?
Yeah. Oh, look, I'm a massive Queens of the Stone Age fan, so I hope it's good. But it sounded a bit all over the shop there to me. But I don't know.
I don't know.
I only listened to as much as we're going to put on the podcast. So,
and that is it. Pre-game warm-up done.
I'm Tom Duday, and here we crow.
All right, let's talk about the game. Massive win from the Crows. 19 goals, 7, 121, beating St Kilda 10 goals and 9 points for 69 points. Nice. Crows by 52. Our biggest win under Matthew Nicks, our biggest score. Big
all round. How was it at the game?
There were a lot more people than I thought.
Yeah. Was it like 33, 34,000?
33. And, you know, shit time of the day. Just ruins your whole day if you want things to do. Obviously, Mother's Day had made an impact, but, you know, they were giving away tickets for the last half of it. But, yeah, people showed up, which was really good. They were loud.
Yeah.
And loving what they were seeing. It was really, really good footy from the Crows. I don't know. Just like...
Did you feel confident until 5 minutes to go?
I felt so relaxed the entire time.
Really?
Yep. It was weird. I don't know. They just turned it on from the get-go and didn't really seem to let up. And I was just kind of, you know, once we were 6 goals up, I was like, we're home free here. Like, I didn't have that that Collingwood feeling, you know?
Yeah, that's true.
We just seemed to be able to get the ball. I think our ball movement was really good. Our ability to get get the contested ball and move it on the outside that won us the game.
Mm-hmm.
It was a high pressure game, but it wasn't as high pressure as some of the other games we've played, I don't think.
No.
Compared to the Hawthorn game, if you watch the replay, I'm not sure if you saw the pressure gauge for both teams, but it was right in the middle there.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a high pressure game at all. And I thought everyone played their role really well. There were no passengers. So, yeah really good. Great game. Yeah,
I feel like we certainly brought the heat, but it worked so well that it didn't necessarily end up scrappy. Like it didn't feel like a really like over contested game, which can then look a bit yuck. After that, we found after we had the contest, there was pressure there. Then once we were out. We had free players everywhere and quick entries forward. One thing I noticed this week was our entries into forward 50 were so much deeper than they have been the last couple of weeks. And I would imagine that's just purely, down to a bit of game style and the better teams in Geelong and Collingwood stopping us from doing that. But this week it was super noticeable just getting it in there, getting it long. And obviously our forward line just thrives on anything coming in quickly when we've got 3-on-3. It's just, huge advantage. What do you think, Ben?
Yeah, I just thought we did everything we'd hoped they would. It's just they did it better than we thought we could. So, it was really good. It was a really high possession game for us. And the thing that I really noticed was, that spread from contest. We did to St Kilda what teams for the last few years have been doing to us, where they get it out to someone and they just run away and find someone spare.
Yeah.
That was us doing it, which was a strange thing to see.
Credit to us too for like the players on the outside having the restraint to stay on the outside and wait for that ball, because it's very tempting to go in to try to get the contested ball. But we showed some patience and we eventually got there.
And I think it's also our players are all developing a lot quicker than maybe we thought. But I think the other thing that's developing is we need to give some credit to the development of our coaching panel. I think Nick's and whoever's helping him, they're coming into games with really good game plans.
Yep.
We don't always execute still, but I think we've set ourselves up with a game style that's doing well against really good teams, which you'd think then means once we're ready to have a real go at finals, we've got a game style that can still hold up to that, you'd hope.
Yeah, for sure. And I really actually enjoyed before the game they did cross to Nixie up in the box for a bit of commentary, and they kind of said, how's it feel to be up there? And he was like, well, I'm relaxed because the team is going to do this now. Like we're just here to guide them. And I think that, him just saying that really puts into perspective like how much this team is doing this. It's the coaches have set them up really well, and now they have built that confidence to really play the game that they want to play, which is brilliant for us.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So stats-wise, I mean, there's lots of things that stood out. It was fairly comprehensive the way we won, but I mean, we talked about possessions before. We had 440 to their 349. St Kilda are kind of known as, if you're doing your fantasy, which Sam is very keen on this year.
I love it.
Known as if your player is playing against St Kilda, they're due for a bit of a bump in their score because they're quite easy to score against. So I think we've got a lot of players who don't normally get massive disposals did this week. So I think that's a slight artificial inflation on what they'll do going forward. But it's still, they had to do it, and they did it. I think what we did well was we had these high possessions, but we had them at a really high efficiency. So we were a little bit above our average. So we were 76% this week versus normally 72. So we're a bit of a bump up. But what we did was we bumped St Kilda down from their average of 73 down to 68. So we made it harder for them to do well. And they are one of the highest marking teams. We beat them 126 to 78. So we just
massive
belted them. So, and tackles was a bit lower for them. We had so much more of the ball, but they only beat us by 2 tackles. So, we had them there. Possibly last week of the hit out to advantage watch. This week, Rob went at 26, Thilthorpe 43%, and Marshall at 43. So, kind of, we still spanked them. And had a lower hit out to advantage. So it kind of shows that it's not necessarily the be-all and end-all of stats that
for sure
means that we're going to win centre clearances or stoppages. It's sometimes, really looking finely into one stat doesn't work that well. So
Yep.
that's going to be put on ice for a little while now.
Okay, no worries,
I've
Ben.
enjoyed
Thanks for that. I do want to bring up something relevant to that, though, and that was that Thilthorpe started in the ruck and Riley O'Brien was on the bench.
Yes. Lovely to see.
Reason for that was from Nixie to get Filthy in the game because he has, last couple of weeks, as we know, has been pretty quiet.
That's what Nixie says.
That's what he says. So what do you reckon? What do you think?
Nah, it's probably true. I just wish, well, I'm so hoping it was a glimpse to the near future, to be honest. Like a world where Thilthorpe has the ability to, and maybe the strength and the will to run out a full game or a mostly full game in the ruck. Sounds fantastic to me. But obviously I'm biased and everyone's going to give me shit about hating Rob.
No, I think it's a little
really
way,
hating on it. You could do much worse. Sorry, Ben. Go.
I think it's a little way down the track. I think they still see Rob as definitely our top ruck for this year at least.
Absolutely.
Well, he was straight back in there after the first goal.
So I think it is what it is. So we just make what we can out of it.
For sure. And speaking of clearances, old mate Luke Pedlar in the middle finally, 6 centre bounce attendances with 3 clearances. Absolute beast mode.
Yeah.
God, he's good to watch.
Yeah.
I
so
knew
you
he would be
profess your
good.
love to him?
Not quite. So I did actually do that this week on Twitter. I put it out there. I was like, move over, Shane.
Yep.
I've got a new inappropriate crush, much younger inappropriate crush, and that is Luke Pedlar. And literally 15 minutes after I wrote that on the internet, my boyfriend turned around to me and said, "Oh, so you know this Luke Pedlar bloke? Yeah, my mum dated his dad in the 90s."
So you've got an in?
Sounds like it, Ben.
Maybe, yeah.
Oh, dear.
But, yeah, he could be absolutely anything, Luke Pedlar. I think I just hope that with games he learns to just calm down a touch in like high pressure. Like he had that shot at goal in the first quarter that just went nowhere near the goals, which is fine. Don't get me wrong. This is not a massive knock on him.
It wouldn't want to be.
Particularly when he had that one-handed pickup.
I reckon I've watched that about 75 times.
Took a lot of restraint not to send you a message saying, "Look at that boys in class from Pedlar."
No, what I'm meaning by this is that like I'm just hoping that once he has 50, 60, 70 games under his belt that that class is just there. It's just on tap for him because he's got everything else. It's just that is just a little bit lacking. So
listen to Nuz this morning. I think he said he's played 13 games.
Yeah, he has
13
games.
He's got so much more to go.
2 in his first year, 3 in his next year, and he's played 8 this year. So he's he's hardly had a run. This is his first run at it, really. Yeah. And he's already snuck into the midfield.
You really want to say he's building up to something special.
And he's not playing a role where he gets cheap, easy possessions. He's getting hard, contested, bursting possessions. So they're a lot harder to just look classy all the time.
That's it.
They're under a lot of pressure a lot of the time.
Lots of grunt about Peds, which I absolutely love.
Yep.
Just on scoring, Crows scored 14 goals, 185 from turnovers. That's pretty huge.
Yep.
We outscored St Kilda 36-13 from stoppages as well. So that's big numbers there. Individual performances. I think Brodie Smith, I did tell him about 3 or 4 weeks ago he could go to the glue factory. Well, I'm taking it back. I'm rescuing him. You can come back, Brodie.
Yep.
Absolute vintage Smithers. I think the last couple of weeks he's shown a bit, but this week was just legitimate Smithers. He's just come back full force. Absolutely loved it. Same as Tex. Huge game from Tex after getting absolutely towed last week in Geelong. But took on Wilkie. I think really clever of the Crows to there wasn't a lot of bombing down the line to pack. It was bombing down the line to one-on-ones. We managed to win most of those, and Tex absolutely creamed Wilkie, I thought.
Yeah, and Wilkie's a reasonable player as well, so it was good to see. Tex, he had a few of those moments that seemed to dominate his one-on-one contests. He sort of tries to body the opponent, which is probably midfield kicking it in's fault just as much as his. But overall, 4 goals. It's a very handy effort.
Didn't give away as many frees this time either.
No, that's right. I think, like Ben mentioned early on, that some of our halfback numbers are possibly slightly overinflated due to St Kilda's willingness to just give up the ball across that line. So while we saw Miller with 25 disposals, I can't remember the last time he had 25. And Brodie Smith obviously smashing it. So, yeah, I not that I don't want to read into them, and I rated both of their games really highly, but take that in. Like, obviously, just need them to do it again.
It would be great, wouldn't it?
And I think looking at it with the advantage of hindsight, St Kilda really lost this at selection.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't even pick their Armfield winner.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Who was that? I can't even remember
Oscar
now.
Adams.
Oscar Adams, yeah.
So how can you possibly think you can come into a game and not pick your best standout player?
Absolutely
That's true.
Ridiculous, Ben.
That is true. McHenry as a sub.
Well, the ultimate sub.
13
disposals and 3 marks and a goal in half a quarter of footy.
Yeah. I don't really want to see him and Murphy in the team like for a full game, but I'm absolutely loving McHenry as the sub. I doubt that he's going to be super happy with being a consistent sub, but
he can't because they can't keep him out of the sample without playing full games. So they're never going to just keep making him the sub every week. Like
he can just run laps. He'll be right.
That's how I did my football career. I did finish fairly early.
Well, speaking of Murphy, he had another massive week. I think everyone is feeling pretty bad about Murphy being the whipping boy for so long. Are you feeling bad about that, Sam? Or?
No. I think, did I say this on the podcast last week, or did I say it to Ben? My dislike of Murphy was mostly because of the 3 of them in the team, with Rowe, McHenry and Murphy all being squeezed into the one sort of half forward line. Mm-hmm. Never really an individual thing. Potentially yes at times, but Murphy was always played in a weird role where we would play him forward and then try and kick it on his head. And when we're a bad team, trying to rely on him to try and kick goals from dodgy inside 50 entries, it was never going to be a recipe. Letting him roam, letting him play to his strengths has been fantastic. So, yeah, absolutely. Any negatives that I've said about Murphy, I will humbly retract.
Okay, very good. Also, another player that a few people have been talking about is Jordan Butts. Thought he looked like he'd shaken off the cobwebs a bit this week. Yeah. And specifically with not having Murray in the team, didn't really miss him too much, which was good.
Yeah.
Paddy Parnell, woo!
It's quite the mark.
He had a great game, and that was his first ever contested mark, by the way. So well done, Paddy. Hopefully you win a real car, not Texas Kids' tiny car.
That was very good, actually.
Yeah, it was very good.
I liked that.
A little bit mean.
Yeah. Do you reckon he would have fit in it?
Yes. So the Crows, just at the moment, here's some stats for you.
Ooh.
We are rated for score per inside 50 first.
Yep.
Points from turnover differential fourth, and post clearance contest first.
Yes, someone watched on
Here
the couch
we
last
crow,
night.
baby. I literally stole that from someone. I actually watched it this afternoon, and we are getting talked up.
Yeah, I don't like it. It's in my bads. Yeah.
Well, we'll talk about that after. Do we want to do some votes now? Are we done? Have we just finished talking about the game? Anything else you want to mention?
One little thing I noticed in the second quarter watching the replay was when we're up by sort of 40 points there was a little bit of, I don't want to say lairising, but there was just a little bit of like, maybe I'm going to chew this off because we're up by 40 points, but still reasonably early in the game that I didn't love. But other than that, no other negatives. Just need to bring up one
Lairising.
negative. Well, there was a lot of times they were trying to bite off like a across the ground kick that just wasn't necessary at the time.
Right.
So it's sort of like, we're up by 40 points here in the second quarter. I'm gonna try and bite this off, but it just wasn't the play at the time.
It did seem to me like we did take the foot off the gas a little bit in like the last bit of the second and the third quarter.
Yeah,
we were maybe that was an instruction just to lay off a little bit because we were so far ahead in front. There was like a few Saints goals there that they just like stormed through the centre and there was no pressure on them whatsoever.
Yeah.
Which is a little bit worrying because we can't play like that if we're going to play finals footy.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
They righted it and it was obviously fine, so it's not a big deal. It was just something I wrote down in my notes.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Shall we do some votes then?
Sure.
Let's hear from Dan first, seeing as he's not here. He's gone 3 for Tex. We had 16 disposals, 5 goals, 8 marks, and 8 score involvements. He's gone 2 for Millera, 26 disposals, 8 intercepts at 84% efficiency, and 1 for Brody Smith, 32 disposals, 1 goal, 8 intercepts, 84% efficiency.
3 for Walker.
Yep.
2 for Smith. And I gave 1 vote to Dawson still. I know he was well down on his disposal efficiency, and it's probably reason enough to not give him a vote, but he got so much of it. I love him in the midfield. He still had just as many effective disposals as some of our other players. So it's, I thought his game was absolutely fine still.
Yep. Ben?
So I went Smith with the 3 votes. Walker for 2, and I've actually given Murphy another vote. Just thought
Don't be like that.
22 possessions, and 9 of those were contested possessions, a big part of why we were able to win and spread.
Yeah.
Team high 9 score involvements as well. So
good on you, Murph dog.
I reckon justified there, Sam.
Bit of a love affair, I reckon.
No, you're just still a little bit dirty.
Wait, I've got to do mine. 3 for Walker, 2 for Brody Smith. Just all of those stats before 9 marks, also 731 metres gained.
Yep.
And I gave 1 to Luke Pedlar for his 2 goals, 3 clearances, 5 marks, and 3 tackles.
That's the love
and I
affair,
think
actually.
this week there is a lot of players who could have got votes. I think.
Oh, absolutely.
Almost last week, Dawson got the top from all of us, and that's almost part of the reason why I didn't vote him this week, because he got a bit of a cheap 4 lots of 3.
Dawson, I thought Sloan could have got in there, led even though he didn't play the whole
Miller
game.
Could have got more.
Miller,
Parnell could have got
Parnell.
Yep.
Chase Jones had another great game.
Yep.
Huge, big.
Hi, I'm Tyson Edwards.
You're such a quiet achiever.
All right, my Tyson Edwards quiet achiever this week goes to Wayne Miller.
Nice.
Yep. All the things we talked about, that's why. Dan's is Paddy Parnell.
Yeah,
Mark of the Year contender.
I did Parnell as well.
Yep.
Yep.
Love it.
Benjamin?
So mine's a bit different. It's not necessarily just this game, but I've gone with Hinge.
Bit of the body of work vote.
Well, and just particularly, he sort of stepped into the role that Dawson had to play, and his ability to take on that role, we've been able to unleash Dawson in the midfield.
Yep.
And he's done a great job at it. So I think over time, it's been really important, and maybe a little bit of quiet while he's been achieving.
Yep. Great. Love
Nice.
it. Didn't even mention Fog.
No, he doesn't deserve it yet.
Oh, okay.
If you want to know what's in the spring, get into Rowan Jarman.
I only put 1 good down this week. Ben assures me that he's got 1 for us too. But it was the Parnell mark, which I know we've already spoken about. But I think what was really cool about that was that he stood up, didn't really care about the mark, and then bit off an awesome kick into the midfield, into the centre square. That just there's been talk about him potentially getting booted out of the side to bring back in Murray. I know we don't need to do that now with Duday being out, but I just think he needs to play. I love his disposal efficiency. Ben, what did you have?
Well, so not football related. A bit of single parenting action over majority of the weekend this weekend. One of the nights, very nutritious macaroni and cheese for dinner.
Delicious.
Which isn't so much the good, but it was the following day. Had a bit of a brainwave thought, this is set pretty hard. I reckon I could cut this into slabs. Bit of an egg wash, some panko crumbs.
Oh, here we go.
He's made his own arancini.
Mac and cheenie. So fried that in some butter and olive oil, finished it off in the oven. And sometimes, you have these ideas, you go, oh yeah, this might work. Sometimes, it doesn't work at all. These were spectacular.
And he hasn't even brought any in for us to
No,
eat.
he hasn't. No. Mac and cheese sticks.
They have not lasted this long. Well and truly eaten.
Well, I'm hungry now. Thanks for that, Ben.
Yeah, thanks, Ben.
Good one. That was good.
A few, they wouldn't have been as good as Ben's, but a few of the burger bars do those mac and cheese sticks, and they're quite good. I know Lizzie loves them.
And this isn't just your store-bought macaroni and cheese. This is from scratch macaroni and cheese.
Yeah. I know all about that, Ben.
Yeah.
I put caramelised onion and bacon in my mac and cheese.
Yep.
I'm all about it.
So it's not just mac and cheese.
No.
So
Footwear sacrificed at half price and equipment slashed to half price. Rowan Jarman's huge half price sale. Don't miss it.
Bad things. I thought they knew me better than this. I loaded up Spotify yesterday and they had a banner at the top with just thinking that in some weird universe that I'd be interested in what they referred to as TikTok songs.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
I clicked on it. I'm hoping they don't register that as an interest. I knew nothing in there.
Say goodbye to your algorithm.
Yeah, it's probably stuffed now. I did know Miley Cyrus. She featured in there multiple times. But everyone else I had no idea. So I'm not really sure. I thought Spotify knew me very well. They seem to.
Look,
but TikTok songs.
I do look at TikTok a lot. So I know all the TikTok songs, but I couldn't tell you who they're by or what they're called.
So they're just the
would
songs that
know
get
them.
like people put behind videos,
That's
I'm guessing.
right, yeah.
Yeah, right. They're just popular because of that. Yeah, right. Okay. Whatever. Robbo saying that we can win the premiership this year. It's got to go in the bads.
Look, I re-listened to that today, and that man was drunk.
Yeah, he is a slob.
Drunk.
Yeah.
There's no way. There's no two ways about it.
Have you heard his how he when he before he talks or when he's gearing up to talk? It's so sloppy.
He's got to get that dry mouth lubricated.
because he's had he's obviously a reputation for not being the most sober of presenters. But
No.
has it recent health issues that's causing like this exacerbation, making it a lot more obvious?
Maybe.
I don't know enough about the man to
I
be
thought
fair.
there had been something that maybe there's a slightly clinical reason he's presenting differently.
Okay, well,
yeah,
look,
he has been sick. He was off there for a couple of weeks, so
there
yeah.
might be not just the partaking.
it's
in
purely
alcohol.
speculation, Ben.
Oh, but this is from multiple years on
I'm
the cigarettes.
I'm not
and the
excusing
alcohol.
his body of work, but possibly his latest stuff. Yeah.
But anyway, the theme of what he was saying is, as true Crows fans, we can't sit back and accept that. We're not talking anything
absolutely
like
not.
that now at the moment. Even on the couch, they were banging on saying that. But Nathan Buckley says we're a lock for the top 8, potential top 4. Nathan Buckley loves us for some reason. I'm not really sure why, but yeah, no, I can't subscribe to this just yet.
I think we're playing good enough football to make the top 8, but it's certainly no guarantee that we'll do this for the rest of the year.
No.
Well, that's the thing, and the only way we're going to do it is with consistent footy, and we haven't actually had consistent footy yet. We've been quite inconsistent so far, so yeah, really can't say. Also, we've still got 2 pretty hot games coming up in the Bulldogs and then Brisbane, and then who have we got after that? The buyers after that?
No, I think then we've got Gold Coast maybe.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
The behemoth of West Coast.
Okay, so we've got 2 hot ones, 2, lukewarm
Although
ones.
the Suns they're showing some form, so they're not going to be quite the easy beats they looked at the start
for
of
sure.
the year.
That's the Darwin game, isn't it, though?
Yeah.
So neutral territory. Lots of Crows fans up in the NT too, so
Yeah, for sure.
hard to say. Anyway,
Yes. I'm going to put myself in the bin. We've already reached my pre-buy game winning.
I would be very disappointed if we're stuck on 5.
But I think the worst thing that happened this week was, we're going to put this in Vic Bait, weren't we? That's right. Have I ruined it, or can I just say it here too? Nah, we'll do. Let's do Vic Bait.
do it now.
Thank you, mother, for the rabbits.
I do think we need to find a reason to play this every week. Just Grant Thomas saying that Keys is the most selfish, goal-hungry player in the comp on Twitter.
In the entire comp.
Yes. It's almost like Grant maybe doesn't watch a lot of the Crows. You could say a lot about Ben Keys, but I certainly wouldn't call him selfish.
I mean, he has a crack when he needs to.
Yeah.
But plenty of handoffs and goal assists from Ben. So.
Yeah. I feel like there's obviously a few things you could probably level at Keys overall. It's certainly a question that I've got for a bit later in the pod, but yeah, I don't know.
Was it Keys who kicked that quick snap after, was it Pedlar who took the mark in the goal square and they called the strange play on?
Yeah.
So maybe he's referring to that. Oh, it was a bit dirty. I could have done with those points from Pedlar.
Oh, here we go.
Don't even start me, Ben. Wasn't the fantasy points I was worried about.
No?
You know what I was worried about? My $1,500 multi.
Gamble responsibly, of course. Yes.
Oh, it was so close, so close. You don't even know. Oh,
So
man.
he is possibly the most selfish player we've got, Ben Keys.
Yeah, I'm on board now.
Yeah.
Dog act.
Dog act.
Well, that might be a precursor for things to come, I think.
I feel like there's pressure on this because Dan's not here, but we have a couple of dog acts tonight actually. Jetty, long time listener Jetty sent in a dog act, and Jetty, we acknowledge your dog act. In fact, we agree, but we will not be approaching that subject tonight.
We've
Love you,
stayed well.
Jetty.
We've stayed well clear of
We're
that
just
one.
going to stay clear. Let's just say that. But we do have a dog act from listener Quirky.
Yes.
Thanks for joining in, Quirky.
Yes.
And
We always like it when Quirky gives us some stuff.
yes, and let's hear it.
So if you want to make plans... Jeez, let me get it out, guys. So if you want to make plans, but you are a footy stan, when will the fixture land? Dog act.
Oh, God.
I've been
Well done, Ben. Great
reliably
job.
informed that the music will be sped lower to my speed.
Okay, well, I actually do have another dog.
That is going to be a nightmare to edit, but I'm
Yeah,
going to give
good
it my
luck with that.
best shot.
I actually have another one.
Oh, you got one? Yeah.
When you want to buy some merch, but needs Sam to do it first, but he's just being a turd. Dog act.
Yeah, sorry. Yes.
Yeah, sorry. I did. Dan did want me to do the dog act about you not ordering our merchandise,
sorry.
and then you went ahead and did it today.
I did it today.
So
I woke up. Do you know what's so stupid is I have been very busy in my defense, but also
yes.
the times that I'm not doing anything and I'm on my computer at, just doing nothing. I don't think about it until
course you're not.
this morning, and then it happened.
and I'm constantly thinking about it. When Sam going to order that fucking merch?
It's done.
Anyway, it's done. So
We haven't paid for it yet. Who knows when we'll get it?
You'll finally see us repping our own merch
Yeah,
at
that's
the
right.
games.
Yeah,
which
exactly.
is nice. You're about to spot us from the crowd.
Yes.
Anyway, good work. Good work, everyone.
You're so keen. I bet you think this part is about you. You're so keen, so keen. You probably think this part is about you, don't you, don't you?
Well, it's been some time since we've heard from our mate Kane Corns.
Yeah.
But was it last week or the week before? He basically said that Tex going missing in big games. I'm assuming he's talking about the Cats game. Now, Tex did score 3 goals in that game. What was the game before that? That was the Collingwood game.
Yeah.
And he didn't really have a huge game that one, but that was pretty obvious. Anyway, can't think of a much bigger game than Crows versus Saints at home on a Sunday, and Tex kicked 5 goals.
Yeah, he did
so
all right.
Kane, shut your pie hole.
And I think he suggested that it wasn't a big game after the event.
Oh, did
Oh yes, that's right. Yes,
Yeah, okay.
an injury ravaged St Kilda.
Yeah.
Come off it, mate. Get your hand off it, Kane.
Out of bounds on the full.
Social media. What we talking about?
What do we got? You got it up?
Oh, you're asking me.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
I always do
Oh,
Instagram.
I'm doing everything. Okay. All right. What have we got? Bozza. Crom cancelled. Saints stink. 2 genuine tests coming. Win both. I'm hiring a private jet in September. Win 1. We make the 8. See you in Wenduri. Did I say that right?
Wendery.
Wenduri.
Is that?
I probably should read these things before we do them.
Yeah. Is that near Ballarat? Is that why you said that? I think it is. I'm not sure. Yeah, I've got no idea. Sorry, Bozza.
The AFL, Quirky. The AFL not releasing the second part of the fixture is not a feature people want. Hurry up, jerks. Have weekends to plan. Classic dog act. Well, we did it for you, Quirky.
Yeah.
We created a dog act
Not
for you.
only did we do it, we got Ben to do it.
Very, very significant.
And probably a one-time only.
Yes, maybe. No, we might.
We'll see how it turns out.
You can
Yeah.
you'll probably go home and practice after this.
Yeah.
Naif. Odds on the Rising Star panel to have straight up forgotten Pedlar is even eligible for nomination. He's been the most consistent of those without a nomination so far. Surely he's due. Well, it turns out that while Luke Pedlar can be nominated, he unfortunately cannot win the Rising Star nomination because of his suspension. So I don't think it's that big a deal if he doesn't get nominated. We know he's a beast.
I don't think he cares.
Realistically, he's lucky to be playing at all after that vicious act that got him a week.
Exactly. You're right, Ben. 1990 Crow. Frustrations. Losing games we had in the bag like Pies and GWS. Should be 7-2 and in top 4. Team is developing rapidly. Would have expected this in 2 years' time, not now. Well, look, I got to say, 1990 Crow, shoulda, coulda, woulda. We could have won those games, but the fact is we didn't. We are still in the 8. We still have plenty of football to play. I don't see it as a bad thing. And you're right, we are developing much quicker than we thought.
Yeah, we could have been in a better position, but realistically, we've still put ourselves in a good enough position to challenge for the 8 if we're good enough going forwards.
That's right. And I feel like, if we had come screaming out of the blocks straight from the get-go, the pressure on the Crows would be way too immense and we would have completely crumbled in the last half of the season.
Well, you could imagine there'd be a lot of self-satisfied Crows players, whereas we have had some reality checks where if we don't do the right things, we are going to get beaten by teams that aren't necessarily that good. Mm-hmm. So they know they have to be on the whole time.
Yep, exactly. All right, what do you got?
Also got Shade of Hades, who sent us a message earlier on in the week.
Oh, yeah. G'day.
Game felt closer than the scoreboard said until the fourth quarter. It's amazing what happens to momentum when you kick more goals than points. When we are on the defensive for a quarter, Michaelani shows up. What is this 19-year-old ceiling when he fills out and gets experience in 3 to 5 years? Yeah.
Who knows? It's
amazing what he's doing already. So.
Yep. And I just want to say g'day to Tallyfi, who sent us a DM on Twitter this week. Said, hey, I'm a new fan to the AFL. I'm from the US, and the people I play games with from Oz told me to pick a team. I picked the Crows, and are we having a good season or no? Are we historically a bad or good time?
Did he leave a lot of spaces before that last
Sorry,
week?
let me say it again. Are we historically a bad or good team? I'm fully invested in this franchise club now. Now, I gave Tallyfi a succinct answer to that, and
was it we're not a franchise club?
I didn't go there. I just said, look, you've jumped on at a good time because we've come through some shit, and now we're we're getting through it. So g'day Tallyfi, and I hope you're listening because I did tell you to listen to the podcast to get your head around where the Crows are at the moment.
Absolutely.
Anyway, I like that we have some Americans on board.
Yeah, it's great, isn't it?
We're really they're coming through. So
I love what G does on Twitter. His stuff's amazing.
Yeah, and G did reach out to us as well, and we know a bit more about G too.
Yeah, we do.
He's also in the States.
Oh, and here's a message from our English friend, Adrian.
Oh, yes.
Huge win. Missed watching it live as I overslept after a Eurovision party. To me, naively, it looked almost a complete performance. Strong defensively, good turnovers, and some great goal kicking for all 4 quarters. Oh, well done, Voyager at Eurovision. They had my vote. Do you know, is this your cup of tea, the old Eurovision?
Not really.
No?
Nah.
Okay. Yeah.
I think basically when Dami M came second, I was like, I'm out of here.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Is that Australian person?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
She should have won. Anyway.
Instagram.
Yes.
Digger. Give Mad Dog a job at Ballarat. Munyard and Maddie will be at game.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Well, there we go. Maybe they can get some comments from some supporters for us. I'll hit up Maddie this week.
Can you love a dog act from Boise? Because what we did to Parnell was both horrific and brilliant. Yeah, I agree.
What did we do to him?
Yeah. It was good. Spence T. No one has more dog in them than Murphy. He's practically the heartbeat of this team now. Yeah.
It's true.
Mm.
You love that one.
No, it's fine. I'm all for it. If he keeps playing like this, absolutely. Daniel Altman. Is it weird the Pies loss still stings? No. No,
it does not. It hurts. 1 point's always hurt.
Yeah, and it's just such a if we'd won that. Actually, do you want? They're already the Vic media's already absolutely blowing our heads up. So maybe it's for the good. Maybe it's for the greater good. We lost to Collingwood that game potentially.
Mm.
Kate. not Kate's A, that we don't even call her that anymore. We know her name's Kate. Is skipping Smithers' goal song again at the level of bargain bin or dog act? What's the levels there, Kate? I want to know. What's more important?
I think it's a conspiracy, actually.
And I also think it's fair to say dog act ranks higher than your bargain bin, Sam.
Yeah, potentially. Yeah. Sorry, I thought you were going to say something there. No, that's it. We're done. That's
Okay,
it. That
great.
is all social media.
All right, fantastic. Now, unfortunately, we don't have enough tonight.
No.
Now, obviously,
we can't put this in the show notes because no one will listen.
No, look, I'll say this is that we did try to get enough tonight. Obviously, our caliber of nuffs has risen significantly from last season, and we've had.
Oh, we appreciate everyone who came on.
Of course,
season as well.
we still want our grassroots nuffs. Don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
but we did reach out to the honourable former Prime Minister Julia Gillard, as she is a big Western Bulldogs supporter. Unfortunately, she's busy doing real work with
Royal Commission stuff, I think.
Royal
was
Commission
mentioned.
and things with Beyond Blue and actual work.
That
So
was
she
a
couldn't.
lovely email from Maeve, though.
Yes, she couldn't join us tonight, unfortunately. Also, we reached out very late in the game to one Will Anderson. Look, put a rain check on that because I feel like Will come on the show at some point. So
yeah.
Also, didn't get in touch with our former Bulldogs enough Simon because I'm lazy. So we just don't have enough this week. Let's talk about the game.
Well, I was going to say the positive is it gives us a bit of time to focus on the fantasy league.
Oh,
that we
really?
have running.
Okay. Do you want to talk about that? Because I don't.
Well,
I don't want to talk about it either.
It's not about me again, Sam. So top of the table clash between Dan and Cripps Unzips this week. So if you remember, Cripps Unzips is in the top 1,000, but he did go down to Dan this week.
Yeah, right.
So Dan retains his unbeaten record at the top of the ladder, drops Cripps down to number 4. I did have a win in case
How is
anyone's
Cripps
interested.
Unzips 4th?
Because there's 3 other teams who hadn't lost.
That's amazing. That's crazy. Considering where he's ranked, that's insane. Well done, Cripps Unzips, by the way.
In fact, he's actually lost 2 games somehow. But it goes to show. I mean, I'm sitting 9th.
Yeah, but you're no good.
I'm ranked just behind Cripps Unzips. Thank you very much. So the old overall ladder, Cripps is still sitting at 952. I'm second in somewhere in the 6,000s, and Dan has jumped back into the 8,000s from his 12,000 spot. So
well done, Dan.
that's the top 3. As we said previously, it's really competitive league this year. It's really stepped up. So
I don't like it.
It's certainly left Sam.
Where am I? I don't even look.
You're 14th, just above me, who is 16th.
For overall. And on the season ladder, you are...
Oh, this is riveting. Well done. This is
why you edit, Sam.
I'm not editing this. This is everyone can see how
everyone's
useless
been
this
waiting
segment is.
on the season. You are also 14. You got what you deserved. So.
Yes.
Anyway,
Yes, very
do you gents have a Dennis Armfield nomination for the Western Bulldogs? Do you want to play the thing or?
Give the kick to Dennis. So we're right behind him, and the Carlton fans are right behind him. Once, twice, 3 times.
Oh, look at that.
Yes! He's the Master Blaster.
Who's the Master Blaster this week for the Western Bulldogs?
I think there's a few potential ones. I automatically think to that small forward. Is
that Jones?
Arthur Jones, yeah, Artie Jones, they've been calling him. Yeah, I immediately go to him maybe, but he's been all right. So maybe in a bit too much form. I think he played a vital role in them winning the game on the weekend, so maybe not him.
Might be someone like a Taylor Giray.
Oh, that's a good one.
Stepping up from mediocrity to amazing.
Yeah, that could be it. Yeah.
Okay.
Potentially. Rory Lobb to kick a bag. That'd be depressing. He's not going to do anything in Ballarat though, will he?
Well, that could be famous last words, I think. So.
Not against our defence, Ben.
No.
Speaking of the defence.
Speaking of, selections. So obviously Duday out with concussion, which he copped a bit of a knee to the skull in the Saints game, which he had delayed symptoms for. So he is out under protocols. Muzzer back.
Muzzer back.
Also, just quickly, while we're talking about injuries, really sad to hear that McPherson's done a quad.
Yeah, right.
And no time frame on when he can come back from that. He's really damaged it. I just feel like he just has not been able to get a run on poor old McPherson.
No, not at all.
It's really sad. But better news is that Shane McAdam looks like he'll be back in 2 to 3 weeks.
Right.
Woohoo!
They're not going to be able to squeeze him in.
Yeah, does he have a space when he gets back?
Well, that's, I did say the other week that I couldn't see him playing in the side because he's obviously going to have to play a shit ton of sample before he even registers on the selection table. So,
And as the season goes on, though, we're likely to not have such a clean injury run, so I'm sure he'll still get an opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm pretty sure towards the end of the season they'll start managing players like Rochelle and Pedlar and stuff like that. So we'll see how that goes.
Disappointing for Zach Taylor too. I don't know if people picked. Did anyone listen to the Gettable interview with Hamish Ogilvie during the week or last week?
Oh no, I didn't know.
It was really quite interesting. He's an interesting character on there. He's obviously got a good relationship with what's his name, the AFL guy.
Beveridge and Toomey.
Yeah. So that was quite entertaining. But what he said about Zach Taylor, basically, that he's in a rush to see whether he will even get back this year to the sample side. So that's a bit depressing. He's listed as 11 weeks on the injury list, but I think that they are worried that he won't play a role at all this year. Not that he was obviously probably in line to play in the ones, but
it's not great for his development.
He was the Liz Frank, wasn't he?
Yeah, I think so.
And I think there has been players who that has derailed their career completely.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
It's one to make sure you get right properly.
Yeah.
Well, look, he's still young, so he's got time up his sleeve, which is handy.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed he has good rehab. I mean, thankfully, we're under one of the best high-performance coaches and teams, so hopefully that will help him in that respect.
Yeah. So Murray in for Duday.
Murray in for Duday. Can you see anyone else coming out of the side?
Well,
you got to. Nixie's big on reward for effort, so I can't really see him dropping anyone.
No, I really can't.
Unless Laird has a rest because he's kind of been struggling the last few weeks.
We've definitely shown that we don't like playing with things, or the current administration doesn't really like just playing with things just for the sake of it. So I highly doubt it. But there's a few on the edge there that I think would be in line potentially. Like, obviously they're worried about Laird. He wouldn't have come off if they weren't worried about him on the weekend, would they? Or
no, I'd trade him in. He's fine.
Imagine if they did rest Laird and they let Pedlar take the CBAs and they brought in McHenry for Pedlar. It would be a dream come true.
No, thank you.
But the forward line we're coming up against is a pretty different one to what we've just played against.
Yeah, absolutely. So
with Norton, Ugelhagen and Lobb.
So we need some height?
Don't know. It will be interesting to see if they feel like we need another one or not. So I think the conditions
Worrell.
they're saying is wet, so that might mean they think they can get away with it. But someone like a Worrell who's flexible might get a show in because of that.
He's obviously been playing pretty well in the twos, but the back line...
To me, it didn't sound like Nixie thinks Woozle's had enough time in the twos, though. From what he said in the presser last week, he was pretty adamant he wasn't getting selected in the side. Yeah.
It's interesting, isn't it? We're so against that. Which I'm not even having a crack necessarily, but it's interesting, isn't it, that we're just so averse to trying those things. But yeah, got to trust them, I guess.
I do trust them. It's worked out so far this year.
Yeah, that's true. What about Ben Keys? I think he's going to become an interesting topic over the next few weeks if he keeps doing what he's doing. I think what he's doing is fine, and he's playing a really random role that's not really necessarily stat based. So it's hard to.
Well, he didn't really play the defensive forward role this week because he didn't have anyone to tag, really. So,
do you think he'd stop someone like a Johannesson this week?
Yeah. How good's I heard some people saying that Johannesson's been playing all right. I haven't watched enough of the Bulldogs, to be honest, to know how well he's been going. Like, is he been back to the best that he has played?
Well, I don't want to flog a dead horse, but the only reason I know about him is because of fantasy. And
right.
Well, so.
Yeah, thanks, man.
But it sounds like he's back in the position that he became famous for, which is that halfback role and doing a good job. They're looking for him. So he might be like a Saad or someone where if we can stop his run out of defence, that could go a long way to helping our us achieve our goal.
Well, he's in my fantasy team too, Ben.
Johannesson,
So,
that's
so if
a very astute
Ben
trade.
Keys could just not do that, that'd be great. Let's hear from Bozza, because he has thankfully sent us some selections
we got him.
right on time.
Oh, nice timing, Bozza.
Let's hear what he has to say.
Good evening, everyone. Round 10 selections from the sauna. One force change in due day coming out. Bit of a worry, the delayed concussion. So hopefully no lingering long-term effects there for young Thomas. I think we're going to have to bring in 2 tools this week against the Dogs, even if it rains. I think they've got a number of options up there. So I'm going for Worrell and Murray to come in, and out to come Ned and Duday. I think we might just stick Worrell on the subs bench as a break-in emergency kind of situation for now, unless someone else pulls out or another small comes out for him. So that's my input for this week. It's hot. Kids have been sick all week, so it's been a fantastic week so far. So enjoy, and thanks again. Speak to you next week.
Oh, Bozza.
Oh, I hope it gets
Had a
better
tough
for you,
drop,
Bozza.
mate.
Yeah.
First Mother's Day now, this.
Yeah, that's right. I actually don't mind it. It would be a little bit of a weird one, but if they're worried maybe about the Bulldogs' tools, is playing Worrell as the sub to potentially come in if needed not a silly idea? Like, I don't mind it.
There'd be worse people to choose, I reckon. He's reasonably versatile. Even if we're not needing someone with height, he still has rebound and can attack, and that could put one of our smaller defenders, they can go through the middle or something.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I don't mind it. Good one,
it
Bozza.
can be interesting.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this week, what day is the game? I have not looked at this at all. Saturday lunch?
Yeah.
That ruins my whole fucking day. Great. Again. All right. Well,
it's like 1:40 or something, I think. So
yeah, that's ruining my day.
Yeah.
Really.
That's it. Just write it off for the Crows.
What do you reckon? Tips?
Ben, you got some stats?
Only a little bit. They're middle of the road for most of your stats like disposals and whatnot. The thing that jumped out as a good thing for us, which was similar with St Kilda, is they're pretty low for tackles. So they're 14th in the comp for tackles. So if they don't lift their game in that regard, I think they won't put enough pressure on us, and we'll be able to get our spreading game working and be able to damage them in that regard. But we've seen teams lift that effort against us. So, and they'll know that to beat us, they need to put the pressure on. So, barring last game, Ballarat's not really a happy hunting ground for us. So that's a concern. Having said that, I'm still going to go with a 19-point win. I think we're playing well enough to beat the Bulldogs. I don't think the Bulldogs have shown a consistent amount of form against a lot of good teams. So they have beaten some decent teams like Brisbane, but other than that, a lot of their wins have been against teams that we should have beaten, like Giants and Richmond.
Yeah.
And then Carlton, who we did beat. So I think on exposed form, we are going in better, but playing in Ballarat, who knows?
I did hear from my cousin Blake, who lives down that way. I asked him if he was going to the game this week, and he said he probably won't because it's a shit ground to go see a game at, and it's also the maximum temperature on Saturday is 14 degrees with a low of 0. So expect to see a few long sleeves in the Crows squad this week.
Well, speaking of long sleeves, new friend of the pod, Angus Randall, is going to the game, and I've got a friend, and they both have the yellow long sleeve Guernseys.
Oh, nice.
They're both going to wear them, so if you spot them
Love
in the
it.
crowd, that's who it is.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Come on, you guys.
I don't think the Bulldogs are much chop, to be honest. They beat Carlton last week, but like my Carlton nephew friend today said, like Carlton are just no good. So like the Bulldogs aren't either. So it's just, I think we're coming in with the better form lines. Ballarat's always a concern. The cold's a concern. Weather conditions. We know we've had a pretty good luck really this year with the weather, haven't we?
Yeah.
And that game on the weekend was absolutely perfect conditions.
Beautiful.
That's a concern. The Bulldogs have the talent. They're just not clicking at all this year, similar to last year.
They do have a couple of players who could rip the game away from us, like obviously Bontempelli's the second coming of who knows what, according to a few commentators. He has played very well and he can really lift their side. someone like a Norton tends to do pretty well against us in the past, takes a few big grabs and finds a way to kick straight. So there's certainly ways for us to lose this game, but the confidence we've got and the way we're playing, you'd hope that that stands up and we get the win, and a couple of really good players isn't enough to beat us.
And I think the way we play won't necessarily I think it will work well on a ground, especially like even if it is raining. I think we don't really rely on that, high skill game. We might maybe stop us a little bit of that quick movement, but yeah, overall, I don't think it's not going to
Is Ballarat
suit us.
Big, small, wide, skinny?
From memory, big, isn't it? I think.
Yeah, I'm not. All I remember is you can see utes that beep after a goal.
Yeah. So look, yeah, I'm gonna tip us this week, which I feel really grotty doing because I don't know. I just prefer to be on the negative side and be pleasantly surprised. I'm gonna say we'll win by 24.
I like it. Well, yeah, I don't know. I feel like dogs are shit. Like, just not hearing anything about them. Although, I don't know.
They are above us on the ladder.
They are a little bit, but I feel like the next 2 weeks are obviously pretty important.
Very.
I think our biggest challenge is going to be Lions at home because they always play well against us at Adelaide Oval. So I think this one we should probably have it in the bag, I would hope, especially if we bring on the energy and efficiency we did this week. So
if we are a genuine finals contender, this is the game we should be winning.
Absolutely. And, a lot of people, as much as they're enjoying watching the Crows, the one thing that they're saying about us is that we can't win away.
Yeah.
So we really need to disprove that theory and win this game. So my heart says Crows by 6 goals.
I'm just hoping our players haven't heard a lot of this possible premierships sort of talk and that sort of gear, and just focus on their own game, not what the outside noise is.
Yeah.
Look, I think after this week, none of them are listening to any outside noise. Probably for the best.
I remember that game last year when we went on a little bit. We beat the Bulldogs and we beat Richmond, and then we went into that home game against the Giants. There was a bit of bathwater being drunk that week, and we got pounded. So let's hope they have righted all of those deficiencies, and I think they have really. I think there's some new leadership there. I think it's gone from us. I don't know. I feel like the mindset's there now, whereas maybe last year it was still a bit fragile.
The games we've lost haven't been because we looked like, how good are we? It's been poor execution, not kicking straight, or not hitting targets inside 50. It hasn't been because they haven't been trying or they've slacked off. It's just not getting the job done.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. Nice.
Well, hopefully we can get it done this week because I really like the winning feeling.
Yes.
I'm all over it.
Yes. Do you reckon Dan will come back next week?
Maybe. Maybe he's ditched the podcast. He just can't break it to us.
Yeah. I hope he comes back.
One day.
Yeah.
One day he'll host this podcast and I won't have to do it for the 7th time.
I'll do it next week no matter what.
Okay, sure. All right. Well, thanks for joining us on Here We Crow. Shortest episode ever?
No, it's unedited, but we are over the hour mark still at the moment. So
sorry, guys.
We managed
You're
to pad it
in
out
for the long haul. We love it.
Sorry.
Thanks, Sam.
Buy
Thanks,
some
Ben.
merch. Tell your friends.
Yeah, buy some merch. God damn, we need to sell some merch. We're broke, people. Come on, help us out.
Yeah, Ben's sick of it being in his garage as well. So yeah, need to fix that. But yeah, no, it's good. I think this is an alright pod. I reckon give ourselves a pat on the back. What do you reckon?
Oh yeah.
I reckon you
Give it
better
a 7 out of 10.
stop self-critiquing at the end of each pod.
All right.
Don't let that affect your reviews or ratings on Apple or Spotify. Right. Thanks for joining us on Here We Crow, episode 56. Ben's got a song to take us out. See you next week.
Bye.